In Unit 16 and 17 of Section 4, we're going to cover length measure and equivalent units of length measure. So, starting with the English linear units, we have inches, feet, yards, miles, rods. All of them, none of them seem to make any degree of common sense. There are 12 inches to each foot and 3 feet for each yard, but 1,760 yards to a mile. It's a very strange and confusing system, but it's the one we've been using forever, so most of us are used to it, and it's not a big deal. Metric, on the other hand, even though that's been difficult to get it integrated into the rest of society, we as machinists use it quite a bit, and it's really a simple system. It's all based in multiples of 10. You have the base unit, the meter. 10 meters is a decameter, 100 meters is a hectometer, 1,000 meters is a kilometer, 1/10 of a meter is a decimeter, 1/100th of a meter is a centimeter, and 1/1000th of a meter is a millimeter. So there are 10 millimeters to each centimeter, 100 millimeters to each decimeter. There are a million millimeters to each kilometer. So it's really an easy system to use. And is a mnemonic device that I was taught by one of my students when I was teaching math. He came up with this one: Kings hate dragons because dragons cost money. So, kings hate dragons because dragons cost money. So, you could always keep those in. If you remember this little mnemonic device, you'll always remember the order that they're in. All that's well and good, but the reality is, as a machinist, the only two units you're going to be worried about is the inch and its parts and the millimeter. This is the only thing you're ever going to see on a print. You won't see yards, feet, rods, miles on a part print. You're not going to see kilometers or decimeters or hectometers on a part print. You're going to see millimeters. And these are the conversion factors. For every inch, there are 25.4 millimeters. For 1 millimeter is equal to 0.03937 inches. Using these two conversion factors, we can work with any number, converting it from inches to millimeters, millimeters back to inches. So let's work with one of our problems. I've picked a couple of them. This one is in inches and feet. One of the biggest complaints I have from students is they don't understand how, or they have problems with word problems. Well, here's the reality, folks. The world is a word problem, okay? You're never going to have everything just laid out in front of you. The boss is going to come to you and say, okay, I need a length of bar 3 feet 7 and 15/6 inches long. I need it cut from a bar 12 foot 2 and 3/32 inches long. Give yourself 1/16 inch saw allowance for each cut, and I want to know how much bar is left over, and I want that answer in feet and inches. That's the way they're going to come to you and ask you. So you got to say to yourself, okay, what do we want? What does he want? He wants to know what length of bar remains. And how does he want it? He wants that answer in feet and inches. There's where you're going to end up. So everything that you're working with has to lead to these conclusions. what length of bar remains, and the answer in feet and inches. So where are you going to start? Well, you're going to start with how long is your bar? Your bar is right here. A bar 12 feet, 2 and 3/32 inches long. So 12 feet, 2 and 3/32 inches long. So first thing we're going to have to do is get this all into inches. So 12 inches to each foot, there are 12 feet, so 12 times 12 is 144, plus 2 and 3/32. So we add those together now that they're all in the same unit. We have 100, we'll write right over here, 146 and 3/32 inches. Now, what are we going to do with that? We're going to cut a length of bar 3 feet, 7 and 15/16 inches long. So we have 3 feet, 7 and 15/16 inches long, and we're going to allow ourselves another 1/16 of an inch for a saw cut. So we're going to add 1/16 onto that. Add 1/16. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. We got 3 feet, just like before. There's 12 inches to each foot, so 3 times 12 is 36, plus the 7 and 15/16 plus the 1/16. Now this is fortuitous because 7 and 15/16 add another 16th, that just becomes 8. So 36 plus 8 is equal to 44. Now we've got a real simple number to work with. 44 from 146 and 3/32 becomes 102 and 3/32 inches long. So there, we're almost done. We've got what length of bar remains, but now we have to change that answer into feet and inches. So to do that, we're going to bring the calculator in, and we'll divide this 102 by 12. So now we have our calculator here. We're going to enter in first the 102 divided by 12. Divided by 12 is 8.5. So 8.5 feet, since there's 12 inches to each foot, a half foot would be 6 inches, so we end up with 8 feet, 6 and 3/32 inches. And now the boss has the answer he wants. 8 feet, 6 and 3/32 inches of bar stock will remain after we cut his piece that he wants. So let's look at another problem then. In this second problem, we have a very similar question being asked. How many pieces of 5mm drill rod, each 37 millimeters long, can be cut from a 1 meter long bar? Allow 1.5 millimeters for each saw cut. So it's kind of similar. Of course, it's in metric, so you have to understand what you're looking at first. So what do they want to know? They want to know how many pieces can be cut. That's right there. How many pieces can be cut? And we don't really care that it's 5mm drill rod. It could be anything. It could be putty. It could be ice cream cones. It's how many pieces can be cut from a 1 meter long bar, and that's the trick right here. 1 meter. 1 meter is equal to 1,000 millimeters. If you recall, we talked about that. So we want to know how many parts can be cut from a bar 1,000 millimeters long, and each part is 37 plus 1.5, or 38.5 millimeters long. So how many times will 38, make that a better looking 8, how many times will 38 go into 1,000? So to answer that, we'll bring in the calculator real quick. So here we have the calculator, and we want to know how many times 38.5 will go into 1,000. So we enter 1,000 and divide that by 38.5. Hit enter, and it goes in 25.974 times. So 25.974. Right here, 25.974 times. So how many parts can be made? Well, we can't make, well, we could make 0.974 of a part, but that doesn't really matter. So what he wants is how many complete parts can you make, and that is 25 parts, 25 pieces. That's the answer. Very, very simple. You don't need to go any further than that. The answer to this one is 25. So one of the last things we want to talk about in this unit is metric conversion. Let me slide up here to the conversion numbers. The conversion numbers, every inch is worth 25.4 millimeters. So every millimeter is worth 0.03937 inches. So if you have a measurement in inches, to convert it to millimeters, you're going to multiply by this number, and it's going to be a number 25.4 times larger than the number you started with in inches. Likewise, if you have a part in millimeters and you want to convert it to inches, you would multiply that millimeter number by 0.03937, and that number that you get in inches is going to be 25.4 times smaller than the millimeter. So because 1 inch divided by 25.4 is 0.03937. So if you can remember 25.4, you'll always remember how to convert inches to millimeters, millimeters to inches. So let's take this question here. If you recall, well, this is the first one we did. Our answer we came out with was we had 102 inches with 3/30 seconds. 102 and 3/30 seconds inches. So this is before we changed it into feet and inches. Well, what if we didn't want feet and inches? We wanted it in millimeters. So to do that, let's first begin by converting this common fraction into a decimal fraction. So 102 point, and the decimal equivalent of 3/32 is 0.03975. That is 3/32 of an inch in decimal fraction form. And to convert that to metric, into millimeters, we will multiply that number by 25.4. So we're going to bring in the calculator real quick. So slide over here, bring in the calculator, and we'll clear this number, and we want 102.03975 times 25.4. And there's our answer, 2591.80965. Now that's a pretty large number right here. So let's write this down. 2591.80965. Now I tend to reduce these down to just 2 decimal places for metric. And I'll tell you why. So if I reduce this down, it would be 2591.81 millimeters. And I'll tell you why that is. If you take this number right here, 0.01, if you take 0.01 and you multiply it to convert this 0.01 millimeters into inches, you multiply that point by 0.03937. So let's bring the calculator in and we'll do that real quick. So we'll bring the calculator in again. We'll clear this. We'll say 0.01 times 0.03937. This is an infinitesimally small number. Essentially, that is 4/10,000ths of an inch. Now, if we need to get any further closer, we might do that. But for the most part, your typical metric numbers only need to be within a thousandth or so. So when you get into this 4/10,000ths of an inch, it's really unnecessary. So we can round those to the nearest tenth or 100th of a millimeter. So let's do another one real quick. We'll take a look at these numbers. What if we wanted to convert these to metric as well? If we wanted to convert all these numbers to millimeters, instead of all these millimeters rather to inches. So how many pieces? That'd be of a 5.0 millimeter drill rod. So 5.0 millimeters times 0.03937 equals, and I did the math earlier, so it comes down to 0.1969 inches. So, and 37 millimeters, say we want to do that, 37 millimeters times 0.03937 is equal to So let's bring that calculator in real quick and we'll look at these numbers here. 37 millimeters times 0.03937 equals 1.45669 inches. So 1.45669. So we can round that up, since this is in inches, we could round that up to 1.457, 1.4567, possibly if you're going to go into 10,000ths of an inch. So 37 millimeters equals 1.4567 inches. If we're going to go 4 decimal places out, and 1.5 millimeters times 0.03937 is equal to 0.0591 inches. So if you were to change this question, then we would have how many pieces of a 0.1969 inch drill rod, each 1 inch, 4, 5, 6, 7 1.4567 inches long can be cut from a 1 meter long bar. Well, 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters, and if you multiply 1,000 times 0.03937, that becomes 39.370 inches. So let's cross this out, 39.37 0.37 long bar allow 0.0591 inches for each saw cut. Your numbers are still going to be the same. You still have 25, if you recall, that was how many we had over there. But now you've got all of your numbers in inches, and this is how you convert millimeters to inches. And as you saw before, how to convert inches into millimeters. And I hope that helps, and we'll see you next time.